All right, hello. Welcome to the UNF main team League of Legends scrims, or I think they're called D1 team now. We will be seeing um, T1 or not T1, Team One face off against a team with no name, which I will, for the remainder of the stream, be lovingly referring to as Team No Name. Um, They're roughly about an Emerald skill level team, which should be a roughly even matchup here for Team UNF tonight. Um, we do see a couple of things switched around a little bit. Mike Beeston will be subbing in the ADC role for UNF right now, which is not where you traditionally see him. If anyone is here who's watched our streams a bit previously, you'll know Mike Beeston is traditionally the jungler. This is not the case. UNF is trying out a new jungler. Um, I haven't actually been present for the past couple of broadcasts, so it could be that this guy has been around for a week or two, but that's what I know. Now, currently, we're just kind of waiting for the lobby to get set up. I don't know when they plan to start. I think it's starting right now, actually. I have been accepted into the lobby. Big situation. Getting excited. Um, it looks like we do not have any members of Team No Name in just yet, but I am sure they are on their way. In the meantime, I guess I'll talk a little bit about what we can expect from the opposing team tonight. T4J, the top laner of No Name, is actually a support player. He plays quite a lot of Swain, so I'm really curious if we'll see that flexed into the top lane. Um, I know he's a character that is not traditionally run there, but with effort he can be played there. So might happen just because he's comfortable on the character. What's more likely is we'll be seeing some kind of Aatrox Garen set, a lot of very aggressive uh, run you down early top laners. Maybe less so Garen, but we're going to see sort of aggression in the top lane here, which I think Nick will deal great with. I think Nick traditionally plays a lot of characters that are very receptive to that kind of gameplay. They can really take a beating and just keep going. The Ornn, the Gnar, well, that's really it. The Ornn and the Gnar are, I feel, staples to the Nick's gameplay, and I think that both characters are really capable of taking it and dishing it out. Um, I have gotten word that some of the members of Team No Name are going to be slightly late, um, which is, of course, no issue. It happens from time to time, but that's just the update. The jungler for No Name, Dark Strike X, is a fiddle player. He plays a nasty amount of fiddle. He also has a lot of experience with Jarvan, Zac, Lee Sin. Those are the characters we're going to be kind of looking for tonight. He plays a lot of the junglers. I think he's someone who's capable of switching around, but the fiddle especially is something to keep an eye on. Eswag, the mid laner for No Name, is a Veigar player. This guy does nothing but play Veigar. He opens up League. He thinks he's opening up League. He's really just opening up the Veigar simulator. He only plays Veigar. He has a little bit of Victor, Fizz, Yone, Talia, Yasuo, like more traditional mid laners. A lot of melee characters, honestly. Um, if the, I think there is a lot of opportunity to see an AD mid to go with. I don't really know. I think the T4J and Darkstrike X don't really play a lot of AP characters, so there probably won't be as much need for an AD mid laner, but it's possible. I'm honestly kind of expecting to see this Veigar just like advanced. I think that this guy plays so much Vagar, it is not going to slip through. We'll find out. It looks like draft is going to be coming up pretty shortly here. Though I do not have a link, I will see if I just missed that somewhere, or if it's going to be sent in the game chat. I'm hoping it'll be sent in the game chat because I don't think I missed it. I guess until then, I'll keep talking about what we can expect from this game. Um, so yeah, probably going to see AP mid laners just because the top laner and the jungler both play a lot of AD characters. Socratic, the ADC, probably the most impressive resume, I guess, the most games played for sure out of the players mentioned so far. Sadly, Gold 2, surely Hardstuck, surely his teammates' fault. He does rock a lot of Jinx and Kaisa, or no, Kalista, my apologies. Um, Putting out an impressive 184 games this season on the Jinx. I think this is something we're really going to see contested. I love seeing Callista gameplay. I feel like she's I don't know. I have fun watching her, but I feel like I don't get to see her a lot. I think she's a very difficult character, and so it really discourages a lot of people from picking her up. So we don't get to see her as often in these kinds of gold emerald scrimmages. Um, and finally, the support is red v blue. Um, Anybody who knows a little Rooster Teeth might recognize this charming little name. This guy has been running quite a lot of Rel, Braum, Nautilus. Okay, admittedly, I am just looking at this guy's profile for the first time. Usually I try to put a little bit of time in to learn what each of the individual players play, but tonight I was a little bit more pressed on time. I'm looking at this guy for the first time, and he is putting in crazy numbers. He has 360 games on Rel, 182 games on Braum, 156 games on Nautilus. Just, it goes on. This guy is a huge fan of melee tanky supports. It's his bread and butter. So I would not be surprised to see some of that coming out here tonight. Additionally, he does have a bit of Nami squeaked in. Um, so I think that that's just a contest opportunity. As I've said all of this, it looks like we have two new members here joining us that were not on the previous list. Miope B and Agent 911. It'll take me just a second to figure out which lanes they're in. This might actually be the bot lane duo. In fact, it is the bot lane duo. You can forget everything I just said about Soulcratic and Red v Blue. We have two new members joining the roster. Agent 911, Menace ADC is a Diamond 4 jungler, I believe. It looks like this guy. I'm not really sure what this guy plays. He's got mostly jungle characters and also a good amount of Quinn squeezed in there. So, in terms of his ADC lineup, it looks like he plays Tristana, Ziggs, Ashe, Vayne, a little bit of Kai'Sa, a little bit of Jinx. But yeah, I guess that's what we can expect out of this wonderful Agent 911 guy. And then our other new player, Miop B, is an Emerald player, and he plays, it looks like, top lane? I'm going to guess top lane. He plays Pantheon, Set, Shogath, but he's also got Fizz and Silas mixed in, and then a Mysterious Pike. But for the purpose of this scrim, we will be seeing him on the support role, and they have mentioned our draft whenever, so I'm just gonna make sure check in with Mike Beeston. Is there a draft link I'm missing? So if there is a draft, we will be getting to it very shortly. Otherwise, yeah, new bot lane, quite exciting. Surprise to everyone present, UNF players and commentators alike. Oh, it's in the league commentary chat. Different chat. And I have now gotten access to the draft link. Incredibly exciting stuff. And the draft is not starting, but in anticipation, we will be switching to the draft stream. Hey Kelly Fowler 30, I am so fantastic tonight. I am excited to be casting this wonderful League of Legends gameplay. We will be seeing UNF, which is a school, University of North Florida team, versus the team with no name. I'm not actually sure if that's their name or not. I just kind of put in TWNN into the stream title, but seeing it in the draft really makes me feel gratified. And we do see, as predicted, UNF bans out that Fiddlesticks. Uh, really, not just, I think, because we see him played so much by Dark Strike X. I think that Fiddlesticks is just an annoying character to deal with. Nobody really wants to have to stress about vision as much as he requires you to. So it's just like a weight off of your shoulders. And as well, second ban I predicted is the Veigar. There is no way that eSwag was getting this through. I think that the third and final ban for Team UNF is a little more up in the air for me. I honestly don't think T4J is worth banning out. I don't think any character that guy plays is going to be too much of a menace just because he is a support player. I'm sure he is fearsome in the top lane, but he's not worth banning, I suppose. And on the side of UNF, we do see the Pyke banned out. I did see that Miot B plays a smidge of Pyke, but I didn't get the time to really look into it. And first pick for Team UNF is a Pantheon. I would expect to see that in the jungle. I know that Mike Beeston does play the Pantheon a little bit, and I think just the fact that we've seen it chosen is a sign that we want to see UNF play something more divey. I wouldn't be surprised to see the Kaisa come out here for UNF. Uh, I, I think I think I just said that Mike Beeston plays a lot of Pantheon, but Mike Beeston is not the jungler. I apologize for that. I just remembered. I think that I wouldn't be surprised to see the Jimble Slimble on the Pantheon. And we do also see Talia, so Pantheon, Talia, both characters with very effective map-wide ults. They can really rotate to where they want to be from any time. So just immediately off of these first two characters, I think UNF wants to play this game in a very macro-focused way. They can gain a lot of footing just between these two characters, their ults, their Rs. This is an incredibly effective macro game potential. On the other side, No Name, Team No Name, we see Sejuani and Tristana locked in. So we did see that this new ADC, Agent 911, does play a bit of Tristana. So this is his comfort zone, as far as comfortable as a jungler can be in the ADC role. But he has a lot of things to deal with here between the Pantheon and the Ambessa. I think Talia, honestly, is a pretty solid pick into Tristana as well. There's a lot that can go wrong for this Tristana, and she's going to need a pretty effective support, honestly, to deal with all this. And we see the Gragas come out from No Name. This is something that was I looked at it. I knew that T4J played it. He just doesn't play very much of it, so I wasn't expecting it. I'm not gonna lie, I was not expecting the Gragas to come out tonight. But I think it's a pretty solid response to Mbessa. She's a character that has the potential to be aggressive early, but doesn't really want to be aggressive until level 6. And Gragas is a character that just wants to sit back and farm. It's very unstressful, I think, once you really get your Lost Chapter going. I think that it's a comfortable matchup into the Mbessa. We'll see how T4J plays it. I know Nick, as mentioned, is a very calm player, so this could just be a lane of scaling. But we'll find out here. And we do see the Nautilus ban come out. It looks like UNF is very fearful of hook supports in the bot lane here. Could just be that Mike Beastum is a little bit uncomfortable in the ADC role. I think that going from a jungle role to any lane role is a lot more difficult, but ADC especially is very difficult just because you have to go from fighting 0 people to fighting 2 people all the time. It's a big step, and I think that just getting rid of the hook supports, maybe something he's a little less experienced against, is a very good call. And additionally, we see a Yone ban come out on the side of UNF. Yone is a character that does well into Talia. It's less of a they're worried that Yone will do good with their comp, and more of they want to encourage Jack Frost to be as strong as he can be. So I think that seeing the Yone ban come out is really a bone thrown towards UNF's mid laner. On the opposite side, Team No Name has banned out all 5 of the bans have gone towards the 2 bot laners of UNF, which is quite amazing to see just from the Mike Beestum subbing in, getting 2 ADCs banned. Uh, a little bit hilarious, if I may be allowed to say, but No Name is incredibly afraid. I guess his reputation does not precede him. He's a mysterious force in their eyes, and one that can really wreak havoc on the Ezreal and on the Ashe, and apparently on the Smolder as well. It looks like we will be seeing the Mike Beestum Smolder come out. Not something I ever expected. I guess I didn't really know what to expect, but just sort of a calm scaling character. Doesn't seem really in line with the more aggressive composition the rest of his team is running, but I think that it's a nice failsafe, a good fallback. Emilio, a great pairing with the Smolder between the bonus movement speed and the anti CC. Maybe that's probably for the Sejuani R. And the extra range Smolder really appreciates with his nuclear Qs he's just going to be blowing out in the late game. Now, the final pick is most likely support for Team No Name. I'm expecting this way to run mid, just something to calmly contest the Talia. Neither of them should really be trading on each other so much. It's just going to be a lot of wave management, both of them trying very hard to get prio by pushing. And we do see the Morgana come out. It looks like this Emilio got a lot of value. I'm surprised that Team No Name didn't choose something else just because of the Emilio. Now it looks like we will be getting into the game very, very shortly. We have moved on to the in-game draft. All the players will be just locking in their champions. We'll be waiting for the timer to run down. Hopefully we don't have any spectate delay. I know traditionally it's something that we've seen a lot, but within one of the more recent updates, they added the option to remove it. And I'm hoping that the host of this lobby, I believe Mike Beestum, is kind to me today and lets me get around to that pesky delay. Find out in 3, 2, 1 right now. Now this does say waiting for spectator delay. Sitting calmly at 0, not really sure what to expect out of this. It'll suddenly jump to 2.5 minutes. Maybe we're just waiting for the players to load in, but I do not presently see a league option. Yeah, it looks like we did not get the spectator delay removed. I'll just request that quietly for next time. But in the meantime, we will just be waiting for the game to start. Now, I talked a lot about, I think, what Team UNF wants to do, a very dive-centric team. I think the Smolder is an interesting pick. It clashes a little bit. I think that the Smolder R is something that has the capability to do a lot with a lot of lockdown, but I feel like there's not enough lockdown for it to work. I think that it's going to be a little more difficult to run the Smolder than it would be to run like a Kaisa or something. Additionally, Team UNF has a lot of AD right now. I think that this Sejuani is going to be a big threat on Team No Name. I think that it's really up to Dark Strike X to play this well and win the game for his team. And on the other side, Team No Name. I feel like they too are running a sort of dive comp. It looks a little bit more like a pick comp, actually. I just see Tristana and think dive, but really between Sejuani, Morgana, Fue, all of them are characters that just have a straight line skill shot that locks someone down, and they just hope their team follows up. Tristana, I think, is a character that can really get great follow up and really just clean up fights, I think, is what Tristana excels at especially. Of course, she does have to get to a couple of items to do that, whereas Smolder can be a little bit more effective earlier, I want to say. I feel like it's a really uncertain matchup here, but I think the Melio should be able to protect the Smolder enough against the Tristana in lane that this shouldn't be like a huge concern. I like the Morgana with the Tristana. I feel like the Black Shield gives her a lot of security um, going into the like just diving in, but yeah. And now we have moved on into the game scene itself. Um, a disappointing lack of skins on the side of UNF. I like the Santa Gragas, very classy. Little Demon Tristana, personally, gotta say it's my favorite Tristana skin. I've been playing a lot of Tristana lately, and I don't own it, but boy do I want it. Um, oh, I guess I forgot to mention, we do see Team UNF starting on the blue side and Team No Name starting on the red side. It will be probably a 5-point start from Team UNF. I wouldn't be surprised to see an invade from Team No Name, but just by the way their team is walking, I'm kind of not expecting it. I think the Morgana gives them the opportunity, but okay. They're looking for something, maybe more of a counter invade than anything. They're walking all the way around the bot lane, maybe looking for a bit of bush cheese. And it looks like UNF doesn't know it. They're just calmly taking vision on the other side. Mike Beeston gets caught out. A little bit of his inexperience on the ADC role showing. He flashes over the wall. I'm guessing he's already upgraded his Q. Yeah, so he does not have the flat flap available. Luckily, his team is able to receive him and really save him from the trouble. And in the end, he walks away with 1 stack of Dragon Practice. I'd say that was a positive for Team UNF. Probably Hui got his mana flow band stacked just a little bit, but other than that, I'd say that was a UNF favored interaction, however slightly. Okay, I immediately I'm going to step back on that. We do see that 3 summoner spells were forced out on the side of UNF. I kind of forgot to consider that when I was saying it was UNF sided interaction. We do see 2 flashes forced from Team No Name, but I think the ADC of UNF being without summoner spells is just going to lead to this being a much more difficult lane. Additionally, Mike Beeston backed so late that he's lost lane prio. I think Smolder is a character that doesn't generally have a ton of lane prio, especially into Tristana, just because of her wonderful, wonderful passive. But yeah. In the meantime, we see that Team No Name's jungler is pathing downwards. I'm not really sure about that. I guess they're just hoping a lot, putting a lot of hope into Agent 911 to bounce the wave back and then freeze it under his own tower. I don't think that pathing downwards is really a wise idea just because it's so hard for Tristana to freeze a wave. I don't think there's going to be really any good state for this Sejuani to gank unless they go for a tower dive, which maybe is possible. I kind of mess with it, but I'm not expecting it, really. I think that it's going to amount to nothing. Whereas Team UNF, the Pantheon is padding upwards, I think, into a Gragas versus Ambessa. I think the Gragas really doesn't have as much say over the lane state as the Ambessa does, and I think Ambessa is much more capable of freezing. I am expecting a gank on the top side to come out and be effective. Now, presently, nothing too exciting is happening. Amber Dragon does get some pretty solid trades onto Miatbi. This Morgana is knocked down almost to half health, and Amber Dragon is sitting quite healthy herself. Another amazing Achu shot out by Mike Beeston. Really putting a lot of pressure on this Morgana. However, she's doing a really good job of baiting the UNF bot lane into a sense of security. It looks like she will be escaping with her life just because Mike Beeston was forced to use his summoner spells earlier. I think that UNF sort of misplayed there. I think that the bot laners of UNF sort of were definitely lulled into a sense of safety by their opponents. Smolder is really a character that shouldn't, as previously mentioned, be getting that prio, and I think getting that prio was like an ego trip. And it was absolutely wonderful bait by Miatbi to get as low as he did, and then pull the Smolder out from under his tower. Nick trading onto T4J here. The wave is beating Nick's backside. T4J is completely out of mana, so I don't think this Ambessa is in any danger of dying. T4J just chooses to back right now. But in the end, honestly, the Gregs is in a pretty good position. He's been CSing a lot better than Nick has. Could be that Nick is just a little bit out of practice. Honestly, disappointing to see, but it's at the very start of the game. I'm sure we can see it turn around. I just think this is a stage where Ambessa should be ahead, and it's disappointing to see her behind. Back in the bot lane, we do see the Black Shield forced out, a little bit of potential follow-up. T4J is trading onto Nick, but there's just no way the Ambessa dies here. The wave is pushing towards the side of Team UNF. Pantheon is in the bot side, but I don't expect him to gank here. I think it's a lot of effort. And we also see Agent 911, the ADC of Team with No Name, recalling, so really no threat. Morgana has come up behind Jack Frost in the mid lane. I don't think that the Sejuani is close enough, so there won't be any real follow-up to the Morgana gank, but it looks like Team No Name has taken a bunch of prio and will be taking the first streak. In the meantime, UNF can retaliate by gaining a little bit of prio in the jungle. There's not a lot they can do about this, honestly. I think that the bot lane being so behind already, it's not a crazy amount of behind, but it really is a crazy amount behind. It's too behind for them to make a play, realistically. We do see the public execution come out and force a flash out of T4J on the Gragas. Jack Symbol tries to make the most out of his losing bot lane by just supporting his top lane. Unfortunately, it does not lead to anything major. It does, having the flash down does allow the Ambessa opportunity to kill this Gragas later, but for now it's just a sort of even state. We do see the Sejuani hovering bot lane. It looks like she's leaving. We won't be seeing anything come out of it. UNF UNF's players are safe under their own tower for now. In this moment, we do see a trade going down to the top lane. T4J is quite low on mana. I don't expect this to go in the favor of the Gragas. Like, the damage might go in the favor of the Gragas, but I don't think he'll have really enough to sort of follow that up with a kill. I think that any damage on the Investor right now won't be enough, just because of how much mana he has left. At the bot lane, it looks like the Smolder is in dire need of a back. It's going to be kind of hard for him to get it. He's really playing at the pace of Agent 911. The best he can do right now is just CS where he can. And it looks like the bot lane for Team No Name is a little bit disjointed with each other. Morgana wants to push and Tristana wants to hold. I definitely think holding is the better option here, but just a little lapse in communication from the duo. And Mike Beeston is doing a wonderful job of freezing the wave in the bot lane here. Really exactly what he needs to do. Maybe a little less experienced on the Smolder. That Q is quite lacking. Led to a lot of misstacks. In the meantime, we see several members, 3 members of Team No Name lurking around the grub pit. The Pantheon Jimble symbol of UNF is nearby, but I don't think enough members of UNF are nearby. As I say this, Jack Frost is going in, gets knocked off of the Weaver's Wall by T4J. Sejuani ult and Gragas will come out. The Pantheon elects to ult in place. Really a questionable play here from Jimble's symbol. I think really he needed to escape there. And in the end, we see 2 members of Team UNF put down, and the Grubs go in favor of their opponent's Team No Name. Honestly, I'd call that quite unfavorable. I don't really know what the thought process was. Jack Frost dove towards the grub pit already, like, half health. The Hui wasn't in a state where he could really not go. Like, the Hui could have come at any time. I think Team UNF was really hoping that the Weaver's Wall would get a lot more, but it didn't. When we see Agent 911 tower diving Mike Beeston, just barely managing to squeak out alive, and some congratulation from Miapi. Honestly, the more I'm watching this game, the more I feel the victory is on the shoulders of Nick. I think that UNF is really behind around the board, and I feel like, I guess I don't know how behind Nick is. Only ever so slightly behind is how we'll say. Everyone on Team UNF is behind. There's a 3.3k gold lead for their opponent's Team No Name. But I feel like Nick is the least behind, and just from his gameplay, I think he has the most opportunity to get ahead. But I don't know if we'll be seeing him take these opportunities just because he is, as previously mentioned, a more passive and calm player. He lets the game happen around him rather than making it happen himself, which is a good thing when you're ahead, but when you're behind, it's harder. That being said, we do see the Ambessa engage and eliminate the Gragas. Really great public execution thrown out there by Nick, putting Team UNF on the board, 1 kill. Finally, 11 minutes into the game. We see Sejuani lurking around the bot side, behind her own tower, really just offering some protection to Agent 911 in case the members of Team UNF engage greedily onto her. Morgana is also lurking around in the river. There is no vision for UNF in the river, just in their own tri-bush, but it's not very much. Pantheon is topside right now. It looks like Nick is trying to shove the wave, maybe go for a tower dive on this Gragas. He's quite low just from these trades. I think a tower dive is what we'll most likely be seeing here in the top side. Except that this Pantheon is now walking towards mid. Uncertain is going back towards the River Scuttle in the top side. It looks like he's a little lost. I don't know if Team UNF necessarily knows what they want to be doing right now. And I think that lack of cohesion is hurting them a lot here. Obviously, when you're behind, it's harder. There's definitely the ability to come back is present in this game, but it's harder to come, or I'd say it's harder to win, or no, it's harder to come back than it is to win. So UNF really have to put a lot of effort in, and I feel like they want to, but I don't feel like I'm seeing that effort. Additionally, we see more trades coming in on the bot lane. Mike Beeston and Agent 911 chunking each other down quite low, but neither finding a kill on each other. In the meanwhile, something I haven't looked at a lot is the mid lane here. It looks like the Hui does have a commanding lead. The last time I checked, that was the case. It's still the case. About 600 gold ahead. I'm just talking about it now because I haven't talked about it yet. But this is an overall Team No Name favored game. So it is not surprising to see that their mid laner is ahead as well. Pantheon is on the bottom side of the map, looking a little bit at Miampi, but not getting anything. It's just clearing his jungle. It's a little disappointing to see a character as traditionally aggressive as Pantheon reduced to sort of farming all game. I think he's tried to gank. He's had like one gank where he's actually stunned someone in the top lane, gotten his little leap off. It's just sad to see, honestly, how little this Pantheon is getting done. And I don't think it's completely the player's fault. I think Jimble Symbol is probably doing the best he can, but when Pantheon gets behind, it's really tough to make him work. He's a character that is very feast or famine, I feel, and I think that he's famining right now. Dragon, coming up in 2 minutes. Quite far away. Rift Herald coming up in 10 seconds. Quite near. We see 3 members of Team UNF on the bot side, a little bit... No, 4 members on the top side. Mixing up my words so much, I'm sorry. 4 members of Team UNF are on the top side of the map. It looks like they are fiending for this Herald. They really do not want to give it over to their opponents. As I'm talking, Nick catches a public execution on T4J, does a boatload of damage, but just does not manage to kill him. However, that does put the top laner for Team No Name out of contention for this Rift Herald. Meanwhile, Agent 911 finds a kill on Mike Beast in the bot lane. Really, this bot lane has been over since the very start of the game when Mike Beeston got both of his summoner spells forced out. Did not upgrade Flap Flap. But I think at this point it's like the final nail in the coffin. The tower is gone. We're about to see this Tristana around the rest of the map, and it is not going to be a good time for Team UNF when this Tristana gets her eyes on the Taliyah, on the Melio, really even on the Pantheon. I think that it's going to be tough. We do see an exchange of ults go down in the mid lane. Jack Frost does get hit by the Spiraling Despair. Shortly after, we see Jimble Symbol go down as well. Mike Beeston is presently sitting under the mid tower as I speak. There's a lot of trading going on the top lane. Nick put very low by T4J. The Gragas R does come out. Does manage to kill him, cut him down, put him in his place. He was getting a little bit too high and mighty. We had seen the Mbessa get 1 kill, the only kill for Team UNF this game. Very, very heartbreaking as a fan of Team UNF. but very uplifting if you're a fan of Team No Name. This is probably a great game for you to be watching. A confident 6,000 gold lead, almost 7,000 gold lead right now, in favor of No Name. Mike Beeston is scaling. I'd say slowly but surely, but it's very slowly but surely. This is I hadn't realized how poor his stacks were, but this is incredibly not very good Smolder gameplay. I'm sad to say. Obviously, he is a jungler player. He's not used to this grueling ADC role, but this is hard to watch, honestly. Sitting at 100 stacks at 17 minutes, usually you would like to be around 170 stacks at 17 minutes, so he's quite behind. Additionally, Nick on the Mbessa is now losing trades to the Gragas in the top lane. We do see both of them with their items. Nick has a dueling item, Gragas has a utility item. Really should not be a Gragas favored trading schedule. Would you call it a schedule? I'd say it's kind of like a schedule. But it really should not be Gragas favored. It's unfortunate that we are seeing it that way. Jack Frost nearly caught out by the Sejuani R, the glacial prison, but does manage to squeak away with his life. Unfortunately, we will be seeing major damage onto UNF's bot lane tier 2. Could potentially even see it taken by Eastwag on the Hui. I feel like I haven't said enough about the mid lane this game. I already mentioned that once, but I think Eastwag is doing a great job of doing exactly what his job is, to just scale, contest the Talia with prio, and he's honestly just doing that completely perfectly. I said at the start of the game what he needed to do, and he followed that to a T. And as a result of that, he is winning quite hard. I don't think the Talia can really reasonably contest the Hui. I don't think any member of Team UNF can reasonably contest Team No Name right now. The most vulnerable member is definitely T4J on the Gragas. Once again, forgivable. This guy's a support player. He's not a top laner traditionally, but he is putting in great work on the Gragas. Honestly, I wouldn't be able to guess his past. There aren't really any objectives around the map right now. Otacon, actually. Always forget that one. It will be leaving after this month. We won't be seeing a lot of Otacon anymore, so it's going to be more okay that I'm forgetful of that. But Otacon spawned top side of the map. There was quite an amount of trading between the Mbessa and the Gragas. It does make sense that it's up there. But it's what we will be seeing the members of Team No Name centralize around very shortly here. It looks like Team UNF, instead of contesting the Otacon, will be taking the opportunity to shove for towers on the opposite side of the map, and the unlucky member of No Name that was defending these towers, T4J, manages to squeak an escape out. Oh my goodness, really great play by this Gragas. I think Gragas is an extremely slippery character. I don't think there are many characters in the game that can really have escaped that, but T4J is really using his character to his fullest. A great explosive cask to knock the Talia away. And despite his efforts, the tier 2 does go down. Eastwag has come over to assist him, but I don't think we'll be really seeing much follow-up. UNF got what they came for. They got 2 towers, they got 2 bounties, a bunch of gold was just handed over to UNF. Despite all that, they are still a little over 5,000 gold behind their opponents. This game is a major uphill battle for UNF. Now, we have seen teams this behind win team fights. It's not unheard of. However, I think UNF's team comp is not really centralized around team fighting. I think they too are more of a pick comp than like a team fight focused dive comp. I think that we would have rather seen something like a Jarvan here in the Pantheon, honestly. I don't think he was banned, so I guess that Jimble Symbol is just not very comfortable on the Jarvan, and that's why we didn't see him come out. But in retrospect, that's what I would change about this draft. I think there's a couple little strange things, but the Pantheon is really what sticks out at the end of this. We do see the public execution followed by a Weaver's Wall and T4J in the top lane here. We do see the explosive cast come out, hits Jack Frost, manages to avoid hitting Nick, but it's enough that T4J is able to escape. We see a TP come in from eSwag just to add an extra layer of protection onto his Gragas in the top lane. I don't think it was needed, but it was well used. Here in the mid lane, we see some slower pressure by Team No Name. It looks like they're just trying to get themselves prio for Drake, and they definitely have it. Agent 911 a little bit caught up, but because she's on the Tristana, she just leaps to safety. Really no harm, no foul. And the fourth dragon of this game will be going once again over to Team No Name. This is Chemtech Soul. The least impactful of all souls, but a soul is more impactful than no souls, you know. This Gragas is currently getting hunted by 3 members of Team UNF. It looks like they didn't really think about his pathing. Amber Dragon was the only one ready to receive him at the end of his path. Kind of a disappointment from Jimble Symbol that he chose the path that he did. We do see the Pantheon will come out as a follow-up to this Gragas' Great Escape. However, the Gragas continues his Great Escape and is unperturbed. Meanwhile, in the bot lane, there are 4 members of Team No Name sieging UNF's bot tier 3. They don't manage to get it, but they're satisfied with the damage they got, and they are exiting. Darkstrike X is greeting for the red buff, but will not be punished, despite being seen. Fantastic public execution thrown out by Nick, landing on eSwag. Doesn't manage to kill him just because UNF doesn't have enough stats to burst someone down at this point, which is really sad to see. I think this game is really already over. I think the Chemtech Drake is just so devastating. UNF is already behind, and Chemtech Drake just makes the members of No Name unkillable. You wouldn't know it, honestly, from this game, but UNF just already hasn't been able to kill anyone. They might as well have had the soul the whole time. Agent 911 in desperate need of a recall. Baron has spawned. The members of No Name are resetting presently. For Baron, Miapi is catching vision around the epic monster. And eSwag is getting top prio in anticipation for the fight. A Weaver's Wall comes out, looking to catch out Miapi. It looks like Miapi is forced to expend Flash. Arguably valuable Weaver's Wall, you know? You get a Flash out for an ult. The ult is likely a much lower cooldown. It is a much lower cooldown. But I think that an ult as influential as Weaver's Wall tends to get a lot more value than just one Flash. But I think UNF has to go for what they can get right now. Darkstrike X is poked out ever so slightly just before the fight. If I hadn't told you, you wouldn't have been able to tell. There is no damage dealt, despite all the efforts given by UNF. The members of UNF are sort of just lurking around their blue jungle, waiting for the Baron fight to start. Meanwhile, T4J is shoving bot lane into Mike Beastum on the Smolder. I think the Smolder is a character that can kind of receive the Gragas quite well, actually. I don't mind this pairing. However, it does mean UNF doesn't have their ADC present for the Baron fight, and they won't have the damage that they really need to finish off their opponents. I don't think that there's a world where UNF wins this fight. They just don't have the damage for it. Additionally, T4J manages to force out a Mike Beastum's Flash without expending his own. So now UNF's ADC is without Flash, and he is starting his trek towards Baron. We see the Mbessa come in his place. Kind of disappointing. I feel like the best thing to match. I don't think there is a best thing to match the Gragas. Honestly, Mbessa might be it. But I feel like all the members of Team UNF are really needed if they actually want to contest this Baron. And in the end, they don't end up contesting Baron, and instead, they have just wasted an outrageous amount of time sitting in their blue jungle with their hands under their butts. I think that's a saying, right? Like, sitting with your hands under your butts. I know there's something about making your hands go numb with that. Sitting with your foot in the mouth? I don't know. I know there's a saying about sitting around and doing nothing. I just can't recall it off the top of my head. As I'm talking, Nick and T4J are trading amongst each other in the bot lane. Both of them have extended their ults. Nick just doesn't have enough stats. Outstatted by a Gragas. It's really heartbreaking to see if you're a Nick fan. I know I am an enormous Nick fan, so my GOAT suffering like this is so sad to see. I think that he really didn't push his early lead enough, and that just allowed this Gragas to get as out of control as we see him right now. The Elder Drake spawning in 1 minute. I think that we're not seeing Team No Name push fast enough for them to be ending this game with Baron. I think we're going to see them shove maybe the tier 3 in mid lane down, and then go over, pick up the Elder Drake, and end with Elder. I'm a little bit worried that they are not experienced enough or knowledgeable enough to actually end with Elder. I feel like they're just going to kind of flounder it a little bit, just based on their use of Baron. It's honestly quite disappointing. I feel like they should be getting more. That being said, they have picked up 2 turrets for this Baron. It's not the worst in the world. I'd like to see an inhibitor cracked open. I think Agent 911 is really looking for it in the top lane, or at the very least providing pressure for their mid laners to shove down this tier 3. I would like to see the cannon get a little bit more protected, just get more damage. Weaver's Wall comes out on T4J. This Gragas is just constantly the target of harassment from Team UNF, but he is literally never going down. Honestly, T4J is doing exactly what he needs here. Mom comes out from the Mike Beastum on a smaller Jimble symbol, thrusts his spear, but does not manage to shut down Miyabi. Instead, Jack Frost gets the shutdown. Mike Beastum goes down. Nick is currently fighting a little 3-on-1 battle. Agent 911 is looking at Jack Frost. Looks like we will be seeing... Oh, we do see Nick go down. I was expecting Jack Frost to get cut down by the Tristana, but she decided to disengage. That being said, it looks like Elder Drake wasn't needed. I guess the game's not over yet, but I don't think there's anything the members of Team UNF can do. Jack Frost is just a little bit too caught out. A wonderful flash E by this Gragas, flash body slam, ends the final remaining member of UNF that can dish out damage, and the first game goes over into favor of Team No Name. Really well played, honestly, by No Name. I say really well played. I'd say there were a lot of mistakes, and UNF just didn't know that those mistakes were made, or didn't take advantage of those mistakes. I don't know why they dropped the ball so hard. I feel like UNF is really a team that is good at taking advantage of their opponent's mistakes, but that just didn't happen this game. I think the draft also could have been a little bit better in favor of Team UNF. I feel like it was on the side of No Name. It wasn't anything too crazy, but you know, it was just better than UNF's. I don't know if I'm actually supposed to show you the client, so yeah, I had the abilities open. My bad. I will quickly ask Mike Beeston, is there any way to remove spectator delay once you've made the lobby, or is that a pre-configuration thing? Wonderful message. Well written. Um, and it looks like Agent 911 will be taking their leave. We see. Do we see someone returning? Agent 911 has been ordered out of the lobby. I don't see someone present to replace them at this moment. Um, I'm not sure if I'm allowed to stream the lobby. I feel like it's more entertaining if I stream the lobby, but I really don't know what the right choice is. I think for the sake of security, I will keep my lips shut and leave it as is. Okay, it looks like we will continue to see the beautiful gameplay of Agent 911. Um, his client was simply bugged. He will be rejoining, and you'll be showing off once again. In the meantime, let's talk about the previous game. At the very least, we could talk about the previous draft. So, uh, we did see UNF hold their bot laners until the very end of draft, which was very interesting. I feel like just because they were blue side, they were allowed to really lead the draft. I think that UNF probably had a composition they really wanted to go for, and that's why they forced their mid laner and their top laner into their first three picks. I think that doing so was kind of a mistake. They're more willing to sacrifice bans towards their bot lane than towards their mid lane. But I think that the, their three first picks weren't impactful enough to put that kind of risk on. Um, I understand their strategy, but I'm not sure if I agree with their strategy, is my assessment. I'm curious why they went with the Pantheon. I think it could just be that Jimble Slimble wanted to run it. I really don't know a lot about this Jimble Symbol guy, honestly. I think you can see on my stream right now, or on the stream right now, that I am looking through the OPGG, seeing if I can learn a little bit about this guy. Quite a bit lower rank wise than UNF's previous jungler. Could explain a little bit about him. And it looks like this guy actually plays quite a lot of top lane. Um, Honestly, a lot is explained by this. I think. Uh, yeah, I've learned a lot, and I think that surely my wonderful viewers have too. It looks like we are R draft. I have dropped the R stream, so we are sure to get right into it. And while we are getting into draft, I am going to get a tissue and a drink. I'm a little bit sick right now. I don't know if it comes across, but I have a terribly sore throat, so I've been drinking kind of a lot of water in between talking. So I will just be refilling my cup, and I'm expecting to see the same bands. Just gonna say it flat out. Maybe one less thrown towards the ADC. I know the Ezreal was banned by TWNN. I don't know if we'll be seeing that again. Yeah, looks like we'll be seeing a Galio ban come out. I think Ezreal was the second one. It could be that Ezreal was the third one, and I'm just mistaken. No, there was no Galio ban the previous time. So I think that we will be seeing No Name put a little less fear towards the ADC of UNF. In the meantime, I will be going and getting a drink. BRB. And so I have returned. Um, we do still see two bans thrown out towards the support of Team UNF, and Jin locked in first for Team No Name. I like this a lot. I know that of the few characters that Mike Beeston plays in the ADC role, Jin is one of them. So taking this pick from him would be honestly devastating. Maybe devastating is too strong a word, but I think it's not good for UNF. Oriana comes out on the side of UNF, a very comfortable pick for um, the player in mid lane, Jack Frost, and followed. I was hoping I'd get to say it beforehand because I was expecting this, but I rambled on a little bit too much, so I don't get to seem as intelligent. But Oriana Nocturne locked in immediately for Team UNF. A very classic combo, and I think just seeing these two locked in is a signifier that UNF is looking for a sort of combo with their composition. Oriana Nocturne is a very old, well used combo in League, so it is expected to see one chosen after the other. Um, Jarvan picked up by Team No Name. Really just a great jungler. He's very like frontline. He's got a strong amount of tankiness between the shields that he gets from all his abilities. He's got a very consistent diving ult. I think it works pretty well with the Victor and maybe less so with the Jhin, but I can appreciate it with the Jhin. Seraphine comes out for UNF. No Name let that one slip through the cracks. It was one of their last two bans in the previous draft. So UNF is snatching that while it's available. Amber Dragon is, uh, I don't know how well known this is, but Amber Dragon is probably the best player on Team UNF. She's a very, very fearsome support. You can really see it with all of the drafts. She's always banned out two or three characters. Um, really, just a monstrous player, honestly. But she only plays Enchantress supports, so it's something that's a little bit harder to see, but she is very, very effective in supporting her ADC in the bot lane. I think that these games would be a lot harder without her. A Mel ban and a Nami ban thrown out. It looks like UNF is putting a lot of focus on their opponent's support player as well. Agent 911 not as fearsome to the players of UNF as his counterpart. Miss Fortune locked in. I don't know if I've ever seen Mike Beeston play Miss Fortune. I very, very seldom see Mike Beeston in the ADC role, but from what I have seen, I have not seen his Miss Fortune. Luckily, Miss Fortune is a famously easy character. She's the very first character you play when you open up League. The tutorial puts you on Miss Fortune. She is super duper easy. Mike Beeston can absolutely rock this. And I think the Miss Fortune Seraphine combo very greatly with each other, just between the Encore and the Bullet Rain. Uh, is it called Bullet Rain? I'm gonna check that really quickly. Um, did not mean to drag that out. Fortune. Making sure I'm not missing anything. Swain pulled out for Team No Name. This might be in the top lane. I'd be really excited to see if it was. I am a Swain player myself, so anytime he's in the game, I get really excited. I feel like he's not chosen very often, but when he is, it's a sight to see. It looks like he will be in the support lane. Um, Bullet time. I get the make it rain and bullet time a little confused, but yeah. Anyways, the point of all of that was to say Seraphine Miss Fortune. I think they are a satisfying combo. This is a bot lane. I think UNF can win. I think Jin Swain is pretty fearsome. I think it's hard to make Swain work into this comp, honestly. Swain is a character that excels into melee characters, and I feel like UNF doesn't have enough melee characters to justify the Swain choice by Team No Name. Um, it could just be that they were searching far and wide for a hook character that wasn't a tank. Swain's like kind of a tank. You're supposed to build him. In my experience, I believe that tank Swain is superior to AP Swain, but I feel like those who are less experienced with Swain tend to build him AP a lot of the time. And unless you're talking about the ADC rule, of course. If those were Swain ADC Jin support, I would be blown out of the water. But it looks like a little bit of banter has been thrown around in the chat pre-game. Darkstrike X, Heavenly Jungler, put out a great amount of work last game on the Sejuani. I think that, honestly, just the Sejuani pick was fantastic into Team UNF. I don't think they had enough AP to really deal with her in any meaningful way, and I think that she did a good job of just keeping her bot lane ahead. That was where she saw the most presence. But that incredible, fearsome, gorgeous player is taking a bathroom break. So it would be a slight delay between now and the start of the next game, slightly more than the normal spectator delay as a result of this bathroom break. Um, Presently, for the students of the University of North Florida, not just the team at play, but really everyone, this is finals week. Um, I I admit that I am not exactly knowledgeable on how that works with the rest of the country. I don't know where this team hails from, or I guess the rest of the counties. It's not really a state to state thing. I know I have friends in a different part of Florida that have already ended their finals week. But anyways, I'm curious if it's finals week for Team No Name as well, or if these guys are even high school or college students rather. So I think that the members of UNF are a little bit more pressed for time than their opponents. So this draft, Team No Name, I'd call it a pick comp. I think that despite the diving nature of Team Jarvan, maybe honestly, looking at it once again, this is a front to back comp. I got tricked by the Jarvan and the Swain. I was just thinking of Swain for his root, but really this is a front to back comp. The Scion, the Jarvan, the Swain, an incredibly powerful front line for this Jin and this Victor. Um, I think it's really straightforward and clear what Team No Name wants to do. The Jarvan will jump in, the Swain and the Victor, the Swain and the Scion will walk up. Maybe Scion will in a little bit, but the Swain will walk up, and the members of UNF will suffer at their hands. Meanwhile, UNF is a combo comp. We see Oriana Nocturne. They want to dive in on the Jin and really just an uncontestable, unblockable, unstoppable combo of Command Shockwave plus Paranoia should result in Jin being dead. Uh, Oriana does need the damage to do this. Really, Nocturne needs the damage to do this, so a lot of effort is put onto Squimble Jimble. I think is his name, Squimble Jimble. Gonna double check that really quickly. Yes. No, Jimble Slimble. Sorry, a little bit of an unorthodox name. I'm not quite used to it yet. I will get used to it. Promise. I think a lot of pressure is put onto him to make this work. Obviously, Jack Frost can hold his own. He can play quite well in the Oriana, and that could lead to a victory for Team UNF. But in order for the combo to work, it really is on the Nocturne more than it is the Oriana. Choosing the right moment, having enough farm and damage to be able to kill the target, and then getting out of that alive is incredibly important for this to work out. But UNF has separate to this combo piece, UNF has a lot of very strong teamfight ults. I think the darkness applied by Paranoia pairs really, really well with Encore and Orin's ults. It's probably like Call of the Land or something. Call of the Ran. Call of the Forge God. I knew it was Call. Points for that. But I think the Call of the Forge God, the Encore, are going to pair really well with the Paranoia's Darkness effect. And then Misfortune obviously can just follow up with their bullet time on really any CC that's hit. I think that UNF has an incredibly strong team fighting comp. I don't think that TWNN has something that can contest the strength of UNF's team fighting comp. However, TWNN has a comp that is a little less capable of doing what UNF, or a little less capable of doing anything to UNF. So, outside of team fights. So, it's a little weird. Um, we have started in-game draft. I will be switching shortly once I remember how to do it. Boom! We see it. Okay. So, I think there's a roughly 2 minute wait, or no, it's probably a 3 minute wait, but it'll take 2 minutes for the timer to load. As we load into this game, Ornn versus Sion, I think that's a Sion favored. Top lane Sion has really just been consistently strong over these past several patches. He's really been like a consistently strong character for like the past year, but he's really been showing off since the Worlds patch. I think he had something like the highest win rate at Worlds. Ornn is a very consistent character, but I think his time is a little bit overshadowed by the Sion. However, I think that Nyx Ornn can probably beat out the T4J Sion. This guy does not play a lot of Sion. Um, any experience he has is probably secondhand at best. So I think Nick can really pull this one out. Jarvan into Nocturne, I don't think that the junglers will really interact a lot. I don't think this matchup matters much. I think that they're each good at their own thing. Nocturne is a farming jungler. Jarvan is a little bit more ganky. Um, I expect to see this Jarvan clearing upwards, honestly, but I don't know what he can really do past the first like past the first recall. I think that once this Ornn starts getting tanky, and once the Sion starts getting tanky, there won't be a lot that the UNF or no-name junglers can really do about it. Victor versus Orianna. I don't know this matchup. I hate to say it, I don't know who comes out on top. I think both of these characters are characters that like to sort of just play footsies, sort of have a strong neutral game, but nothing too crazy in terms of like all in or pick potential. Like they're roughly equivalent characters in my mind. Um, but the Victor is a character that scales better than Orianna. I think that Orianna will likely have the uh, the strength in lane over the Victor. However, the longer the game goes on, the worse it's going to look for the Orianna. It looks like uh, slightly, just a little bit of research. It is roughly as I predicted. They're about even with a slight Orianna favor. Um, yeah, not expecting a lot of the mid lane, honestly. It's just going to be Victor scaling and Orianna scaling slightly slower. Bot lane. We see, hold on, let me switch the stream view really quickly. Okay. Bot lane, we have Misfortune Seraphine versus Jin Swain. Jin Swain, way stronger lane. Both of those characters are incredibly heavy hitters. However, once the laning phase ends, UNF is going to have a significant advantage. Misfortune is like, she packs quite a punch. I think that she is a character that can hold her own, and Seraphine helps her hold her own really well. Not really holding her own when Seraphine's involved, but Surfing helps her out a lot. The Enchanter is exactly what Miss Fortune needs. Between the move speed, the healing, the shielding, she's able to output more damage than she can realistically take. I don't think this Jin can contest her. That being said, Mike Beeston does need to avoid the Swain routes. I admit to playing a boatload of Swain. I don't know if I've played Swain against Mike Beeston, so I don't know how he is at that. But that is something that we're going to need to see him look out for here.
30 seconds until minions spawn.
This game, both teams are 5-pointing. UNF has a bit more of a 4-point that allows the Jarvan to get vision. We see trading go on between the two mid laners. Both of them get their mana flow ban proc. I'm certain. I'm certain. And in the end, only nope, both of the teams have vision. Bit of a nothing burger. And now it is not as I predicted. Both junglers are pathing downwards. I thought that Jarvan would be walking towards his top lane, but he elected not to. I don't know which of these bot laners is going to have a more confident push. I think that probably Team UNF is going to have the better wave state. Whatever wave state they need, this Seraphine will ensure that it happens. Unless she gets bush cheesed, which can very much happen. Swain is sitting on Nevermore, so Amber Dragon can definitely get caught out. And it looks like she will get caught out. Socratic, Miapi, they chunk a bunch of damage onto her, force her flash out already. Really bad start for Team UNF, honestly, but it's very easily predictable. Meanwhile, in the top lane, oh, never mind, we're jumping around the map. On the top lane, we see both tanks just calmly trading on each other. I don't expect, if someone's going to die, it's going to be the Scion. And then honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if the Ornn were to follow shortly after. It depends on how much experience T4J has on the Scion. But I think Ornn is a bit of a stronger laner than Scion is early. But we'll start to see the Scion scale quite a bit harder. The Jarvan of Team No Name is looking, or it looks like he's looking for an invade. He pinged for an invade. We'll see if it actually happens. The Victor does have a prio over the Orianna, so it's possible. But is it likely? I say no. Now, Team No Name is discussing Seraphine's lack of flash. It looks like that is going to be the target when this Jarvan comes around. He did skip his red buff, so we will be seeing an unexpectedly early gank. Additionally, Miapi started Oracle Lens over the normal yellow trinket just to make sure Darkstrike X gets this gank down. And we do see Mike Beestum get caught out instead of Amber Dragon. And this invade, or not this invade, this gank is a bit of a failure. UNF's members are poked down, but nothing really occurs. And Jimble Slimble is allowed to farm faster than his opponent. We have a CS lead, a tempo lead, really, for the jungler of the UNF here. Meanwhile, in the top lane, the two brutes are still swinging at each other. Darkstrike X elects to walk all the way across the map to get the topside scuttle instead of just recalling. This guy is devastating his tempo. This, meanwhile, in the bot lane, we do see Amber Dragon going down unexpectedly. Honestly, no, she gets the first blood. That is far more expected. Miapi goes down the Swain. His was the account I got the least chance to look at, but I would not be surprised if he was incredibly unexperienced on the character, and I think Swain is not a good character, so having not a lot of experience on a character that's not good is not going to lead to good results. This game is already a stark difference to the last game where we see UNF taking first blood. Additionally, Jimble Slimble has a crazy amount of prio in the jungle. which is exactly what you want on Nocturne. That character wants to just thoughtlessly farm until level 6 and then start ganking. So the fact that he's being allowed to farm more than his opponent has to be incredibly gratifying. In the top lane, we do see both top laners have expended their teleport. Nick is pushing towards his opponent's side. The Jarvan is in the bot lane, however, so does not need to fear a gank. A beautiful, what is it called, like claw or something? A beautiful Nevermore thrown out by Swain manages to hit both Amber Dragon and Mike Beeston. Ultimately doesn't result in anything. Soul Craddock doesn't have as much follow-up as you would like to. That being said, despite being a little bit lower healthed, the jungler is coming into bot lane here. We see Darkstrike X come in, not managing to really find anything. Mike Beeston gets rooted. We almost see Darkstrike X go down here, actually, and Jimble Slimble is coming in as well. Darkstrike X falling incredibly low. Miatbi also falling incredibly low. We do see the Swain's Flash come out. And in the end, no one dies in the bot lane. Super surprising, honestly. I would not have expected everyone to live this. But it does end up being the case. This, of course, will result in UNF taking the very first Mountain Drake. Orianna has enough prio to come down and help Jimble Slimble. And once again, this is a far better start for UNF than the previous game. I think that UNF's ADC could even roam up for this Drake. I don't know if he's aware of it. It looks like he is. But the members of No Name are just desperately trying to find an in, and it looks like they found it. Eastwag hits a fantastic singularity on the members of UNF, hits 3 people at once, manages to cut down both Jack Frost and Mike Beeston. The Jhin catches out Jimble Slimble. T4J roams down as well, hits an incredible, unstoppable onslaught to finish off Amber Dragon, and what was once a good game for UNF is now a back foot. I really thought UNF was going to be getting that first Drake. The member that most benefits from all this is Nick. His laner disappeared for a little bit, so this Ornn was allowed to just whack tower for free. However, I don't know if Ornn is necessarily a character that can take this gold and run with it. Top lane is an incredibly snowbally lane, but I feel like when it's 2 tanks, it matters less. Additionally, I do believe that Sion managed to pick up a kill. Yeah, Sion managed to pick up a kill. So the benefits of the Sion leaving are not outweighed by the detriments. Speaking of Sion, we see him lurking into his opponent's jungle, finding wood on the top side of the map. And it looks like we might be seeing some follow-up from Darkstrike X here onto Jimble Slimble in his own jungle. Yeah, we see a cute little fight between the Nocturne and the Jarvan. It looks like it won't be followed up on by any of their teammates. Some small trades going around in the top lane. Still in favor of the Ornn. Sion just needs to keep farming, keep scaling. He will get there. Amber Dragon caught out. Perhaps not expecting Mike Beeston to go for the ward. Miatbi continuing a fantastic Swainal on the both of them. The bullet time coming out from Mike Beeston does not manage to kill Socratic. However, Socratic goes down at the hands of Amber Dragon, and Miatbi slays Mike Beeston. This is really a battle of the supports in the bot lane. I think all of the kills have gone to them. No, actually, the Jhin did get one of his own. So, a little bit more power on the Jhin side. However, Amber Dragon is just showing why you've got to ban the Seraphine out. She is a menace on this character. Even if it's an Enchanter support, she puts out enough damage that she's really able to independently win fights for her laner. And we do see the Call of the Forge God expended by Nick here. It looks like he's trying to kill T4J, but I really don't think there's enough space in the lane for him to really do that. It might be that he's going for a tower dive, a wonderful dodge of the Sion Q. But really, once again, I don't think T4J has enough, or has a low enough amount of health for Nick to confidently tower dive him here. I just double checked before I said it, but there are no objectives up anytime soon. The nearest objective is Dragon, which is 2 minutes away. So the game is sort of in a neutral state right now, quite calm, honestly, all around the map. It's really up to the junglers to make something happen, but I don't think either of them will be making something happen. Both teams are kind of even on gold. There's 1,000 gold lead for Team No Name, but I think that's pretty meager compared to what we normally see. Really on either side. We see Nick do a little bit of ward clearing in his river, so it could be that we see the Nocturne come top. I heavily doubt it. We see the Nocturne come mid. They miss the combo on the Victor. Incredibly disappointing for the members of UNF. I would expect this to be a lot more practice. Honestly, that was sloppy, and it was very sad to see. Meanwhile, we see the Jarvan lurking towards mid lane. And I suppose a fight breaking out in top lane between Nick and T4J. This is going to end the same way that all of the fights have previously, with neither of them dying, the Sion getting a little bit more chunked down than the Ornn. And it looks like Darkstrike will not be catching out this Orianna. In the bot lane, we do see the Demon Flare, I think this is the name of the goal, busted out. Mike Beeston is caught out, but an amazing encore by Amber Dragon, followed up by a solid bullet time by Mike Beeston, just barely managing to not kill Socratic. Miopi is just got too much sustain on the Swain to really be taken care of, and Jin pulls out the, what is it called? Grand Finale? Curtain Call. Jin pulls out the Curtain Call, but it's just not enough to finish off Amber Dragon. In the end, that was quite unfavorable for UNF's bot lane. And I think that if we keep seeing these kinds of small unfavorable trades, we will be seeing UNF lose this game. I think it's really up to, as mentioned at the very start, Jimble Slimble to win this game for his team, and I don't think that he's really doing enough on the Nocturne to win this game for his team. I think this Misfortune has the opportunity to become a big threat, but I'm not exactly expecting her to. I think that she's at a point in this game where she's so behind, she just has to accept what farm she can get and to try to come back from that. But I just don't see it happening fast enough for UNF to win this game. The Rift Herald is going to be spawning in about 1 minute and 40 seconds. We do see wards already being put around it, just in anticipation. And a fight breaks out in the bot lane. Mike Beeston catches out Socratic, flashes, and does manage to get a kill. This is exactly what he needed. Miopi is also forced to flash, and both of the bot laners for Team No Name have no flash. This is a great place to be if you're a UNF bot laner. You really, they really have the chance to scale out of control now. This is exactly what they needed. A really great play by both Amber Dragon and Mike Beeston. Meanwhile, the members of No Name are catching out Jimble Snimble as we speak. He is jumped on by, I believe it's called Cataclysm. Yeah, Cataclysm of J4, followed up by the Psionic Storm of Victor, and I believe I saw an Unstoppable Onslaught as well come out from the Scion. It didn't connect, but it put him in position to assist. 3 ults expended, Jimble Snimble going down, and Rift Herald spawns in 40 seconds. So I don't think that was even good for the members of Team No Name to do all that. I think they expended a lot of their resources before an objective is going to spawn. I think Jimble Snimble is going to be able to get to the objective. And if the members of Team UNF are good with their timing, they will be able to take a fight in which no members of their opposing team has ultimates. We do see that Swain has roamed up for this Rift Herald, and he does actually have his ultimate, and that will be impactful. I think the Demon Flare is something that you really can't ignore in a team fight. But I don't know if a team fight will be breaking out. Nocturne is on the opposite side of the map from the Rift Herald, so I think that UNF is just going to be giving this the objective, which I really don't like. I feel like they really need to fight this objective where their opponent is down 3 ultimates, but it's just something that UNF doesn't see. It's something I'm more capable of seeing as a commentator as I watch over them. This Rift Herald will be going over to Team No Name, quite confidently. Meanwhile, since the Swain roamed for the Rift Herald, Team UNF managed to collect the first turret in the bot lane. Neither... Oh, no. Team No Name has already won feats, so the first turret doesn't really matter. But, you know, it's something. It's a point on the board. It beats where they were last game. Team UNF is doing better this game, and they're probably going to do better game 3 as well. Cataclysm comes out on Nick in the top lane. I don't think he's going to go down. He is quite low on mana. I'm not really fond of that flash. I feel like he should have at least swung at Dark Strike's X. I honestly don't think Nick was in enough trouble for Jack Frost to have come up here. I think that really Amber Dragon was enough, but you know, can't change the past. Nick was quite low on mana, so it could be that I was wrong in my assessment. I feel like he's alright. And now Mike Beeston is experiencing what Socratic was experiencing just a moment ago. His support has left him. Jimblethimble is present in the bot lane, jumps on the Jhin. I'm expecting this Jhin to go down, honestly. Jimblethimble is putting out enough damage. He finds the Jhin. It looks like Miopi is going to go down as well. Jimblethimble... Oh no, I've been in this position before as the Swain, and it is incredibly Swain favored. These two are in serious trouble from Team UNF. They need to burst down Miopi or they're going to die. They do manage to wean him off of his ult. It looks like he will be escaping. And our sights will return to the top lane. Nothing really happening anywhere on the map. Drake is spawning in 20 seconds, so we do see Vision getting prepared by Amber Dragon. But other than that, really nothing going on. Jack Frost pushing his mid lane, just getting a little bit of prio, pre-Drake. I think UNF is already in a better position for this Drake. We see them set up with ward, set up with prio. They're both of the... Oh no, just the bot tier 1 has been taken, so it's just a more effective space for them to fight around. T4J does have his teleport up. That could be a very big, important piece of the puzzle for this fight here, I think. I'm kind of worried about this Drake coming up. I feel like it's definitely looking more of a Team No Name favored just because of how this game has been playing out. We do see Jack Frost get caught out here by Darkstrike X, and instead he decides to jump on Mike Beeston with the Cataclysm. An incredible encore thrown out by Amber Dragon. However, Eastwag pulls out a crazy Psionic Storm, manages to cancel bullet time from his Fortune. It was a really blink and you'll miss it event. And in the end, Jimblethimble is cut down, and this Drake will be going over in favor of Team No Name. Really quite disappointing fight there by Team UNF. I don't think Jack Frost should have been in a position to get caught out. I think Mike Beeston did a great job flashing away from the Cataclysm from the Jarvan, the J4. But there really wasn't enough damage on the side of Team UNF. There's so much put out by the Victor that just wasn't matched by the Orianna. I think Socratic walked out of that fight with full health. I think that Darkstrike X didn't fall below half health. It was really just not enough. Now Jack Frost X is getting jumped by Jack Frost is getting jumped by Darkstrike X. Amber Dragon is present. We'll manage to turn this around. We see the command Shockwave and the bullet time thrown out by the members of Team UNF. Shockwave perhaps a little unneeded. Miopi is getting a little bit caught out, forced to flash once again. We've seen this guy flash in a defensive manner 3 times, and once again we'd see him cut down by Amber Dragon. I think that's the 3rd time this game we've seen Amber Dragon kill this guy. Icon is spawning, bottom side of the map, 2 seconds. UNF already here. The only member of Team No Name present for this is T4J, and Nick is hoping to contest him, doing a great job. Now, Otacon does shred your armor, so Nick is no longer in a favorable position fighting this T4J with so many Otacon stacks on him. How many does he have? Like 13? It's more than nothing, and the Otacon is taken by Jack Frost. A very, very lucky play by Team UNF. Their jungler is cut down before the objective dies, and it looks like they're going to be getting cleaned up here. T4J does hit the unstoppable onslaught onto Jack Frost. Nick is not able to dish out enough damage to kill T4J. And we see 3 members of UNF go down for that Otacon. Honestly, I think it's worth it. Otacon is a very significant objective. And I think as long as UNF is able to defend this bot lane tier 2, then the gold value gained from this Otacon is more significant than the gold value gains from all of those kills. However, the numbers state that Team No Name is 4,000 gold ahead of their opponents. That being said, 4,000 is a lot smaller of a number than it was last game. There's a bit of skirmishing happening in the mid lane. I don't think anyone's going to be dying. I wouldn't be surprised if Scion was able to take the tier 2 in the bot lane, but it looks like he's just taking the time to back up. Darkstrike X pulls out the Cataclysm on a Jimble Slimble. Jin pulls out the Curtain Call. These 2 ults combined are not enough. It looks like there was a bit of a sort of, I don't want to say miscommunication because I don't think it's the right word, but Swain pulled Jimble Slimble out of the way of one of the shots with the Nevermore, and I think that probably had a pretty significant impact on the fight. I think it's just a sign that the 2 players haven't really played with each other that much. I know that's something that happens a lot with a Swain support, is the ADC not being prepared for the pull effect of Nevermore, which is variable. It's chosen by the Swain, but the Swain benefits directly from the pull because he gets a stack, which is 12 extra max health and a small amount of healing. I think it's 7% max HP, so it's just something more favorable to pull every single time. And most ADCs don't expect the pull, so it leads to that sort of unfortunate play. Nick and T4J are trading in the bot lane here. The Unstoppable Onslaught is used. The Call of the Forge God is used. Neither of it really matters. All it means is that neither of the top laners have their ults right now. It is a 4v3 in favor of Team UNF here in the bot lane. Something really could happen, but it looks like UNF is fleeing with their tails between their legs. They're terrified of their opponents right now. Can I put the scoreboard up, please? I would be more than happy to. I'm so sorry that I hadn't been doing that the whole time. I don't know how long ago you asked that. I don't look at chat as much as I should. Yeah, sorry. We do see a bit of skirmishing going on in the bottom lane of the map. A great bullet time by Mike Beast, and manages to catch 2 members of No Name out. Darkstrike X and Miyapi going down here. T4J is still exerting pressure on this bot lane tier 2, but I don't think it's enough. I don't think the turret's going to be getting taken anytime soon. And I think that the members of No Name weren't expecting to lose that fight. I think they were expecting that fight to be a lot more drawn out because they sort of pulled in from around the map. I think if the Victor and the Jin had been just pushing while all that was happening, it would have been a lot better for them, but they just don't have the macro sense to know that that was the right call to make. The 4th dragon of the game, this game, goes over to Team UNF. It is not a soul sweep this time around. Jimble Slimble has gotten a couple more objectives this game than he did the previous game. Just the Otacon and the Drake here, but beats nothing. And now, 20 seconds away is Baron. Team No Name is quite a bit more present for this Baron fight. They're not exactly set up. There's not really wards around, but it's a process. Amber Dragon clearing out the wards in her jungle. There's Vision in the red side jungle of Team UNF in favor of Team UNF. It's a positive thing. Um, the Unstoppable Onslaught comes out in the bot lane, maybe looking for Jack Frost, but at the very least it gives the Scion a bit more prio. He gets a lot of... he gets to lane faster, he gets to clear the minions faster. And UNF has been forced out of their own red jungle. The members of Team No Name are swarming, and I do see a flash come out from Darkstrike X, followed by a Cataclysm onto Nick. Nick is just taking it all like a beast. He also takes the Psionic Storm. Additionally, Jimble Slimble goes in, manages to catch out a kill on Socratic, but is surrounded by opponents and does go down. That was a 2 for 2, which I would argue is in favor of Team UNF. An even trade is not something you should be expecting too much here. We do see all of their ults expended, so I don't think fighting this further is super reasonable. I think that it's just going to lead to a whole lot of nothing while this Victor is pushing top lane. And I think Team UNF has realized that too. As we see the members of the team swarm up to contest him. I'm not really cheesed with two laners being in the same lane. I think that we need to see Jack Frost beeline towards mid lane. Or Mike Beeston. I just think Mike Beeston should stay top to farm because he's the ADC. I don't know. That's how I feel about all that. In the end, nobody took the Baron, so we're still going to be seeing the players fighting around this Baron. Jack Frost caught out by the Unstoppable Onslaught of the Scion, and followed up by an Evermore from Miyapi. He goes down. This Baron will be going into the hands of Team No Name. As if it were any question, UNF's jungler is on the opposite side of the map. Clearly, UNF was not intending to fight it anyways. I think that UNF's greatest opportunity right now would be catching out eSwag with the Paranoia, but I don't even think that Jimble Slimble is able to contest eSwag. It's a 4-level difference between the mid laner of No Name and the jungler of UNF, which is quite appalling because of how much extra XP junglers get. eSwag is playing incredibly well this game. He's just so consistent to be this strong. He's running about 9 CS per minute. And Jimble Slimble looks like he wants to dive into the Baron for a steal, into the Baron pit for a steal. But I don't think his opponents are going to let him have that grace. Darkstrike X jumps out of the pit, hoping for something, anything. Jimble Slimble is currently fighting Baron on his lonesome. And is additionally fighting two members of Team No Name. We see eSwag clearing out the members of Team UNF in the red jungle, and this Baron is taken by Team No Name. Jack Frost did throw it out a cute little command shockwave in an attempt to steal it, but in the end he too will be going down for his hubris, thinking he could touch the Baron Nashor of his opponents. An unstoppable onslaught chasing down Jack Frost, followed up by a flash into a missed E from the Scion. Jack Frost will live this, and the Scion will probably also live this. He's incredibly tanky. I don't think he's going to be going down. Swain, meanwhile, is calmly pushing top lane. It's the tier 2. Team No Name is splitting their resources effectively, I would say. I want to see someone go bot lane and shove for that tier 2. Either that or all the members spearhead straight through middle. Just roll over Team UNF and win the game. Drake is in 10 seconds. We will be seeing Soul most likely go over to Team No Name. I think UNF does intend to contest it. Presently, we see the bot laners of Team No Name down their ultimates, so that is UNF's faint hope. Baron buff. Little known fact, Baron buff does give a ton of bonus stats, so the team with Baron buff is favored to win any fight taken. But here in this game, I think we're probably going to be seeing UNF in this fight. No. I do think we do see UNF win this fight. Yeah, okay. Mike Beeston threw out an amazing bullet time, was able to wipe out 2 members. Additionally, the paranoia thrown out by Jimble Symbol was enough to cut down Socratic. I think that even if the combo isn't working as expected, that this Nocturne is just in the right place at the right time always. It's been like 3 fights this game where the Nocturne has been the real difference maker. I think this game, at the start of this game, I said it would be decided by Jimble Symbol, and I think he's really doing it. I don't think he has necessarily been farming perfectly. I think he's not getting out of these skirmishes as much as he really should be. But, you know, he's putting in the work that needs to be put in. He's cutting down his opponents. He's not doing it himself, but he's setting it up. And evidently Mike Beeston is the one knocking them down. I think that the longer this game goes on, the more in favor of Team No Name it's going to be. Just because of the Scion, the Victor, the Swain, these are characters that directly benefit from a longer game. And UNF doesn't really have anyone like that. Misfortune is really strong early and really strong late, but into the super late game, I think she will get beat out by this Swain. Jack Frost, caught out by Eastwag. Curtain Call comes out from the gym, lands shot after shot until he's eventually squeezed out. Swain hits Nevermore, does not elect to pull Jibble Slimble. We also see the, shoot, what's it called? The Demon Flare come out. However, he's a little bit too squeamish to take that fight, which I am really not in favor of. I think the Swain could have really confidently done a lot there with the Demon Flare. It was hitting quite a few people, and he has the Rally's Crystal Scepter up. I think at that point, that Swain really could have done a lot. I'm sad to see him not take the opportunity, not take that chance. Dark Strike X spearheading his team straight down middle. They want this inhibitor. I don't expect to see them go for much more, but they've just realized this opening in UNF's defenses, and they are taking it. Additionally, T4J has teleported to the top lane. We'll be seeing the top tier 3 go down. All 5 members of UNF are alive, but it doesn't look like they can really do anything about their opponents just stepping in and taking structures in their base. And it looks like as suddenly as it started, it stopped. Team No Name is satisfied with what they got, and they will be recalling. It's really interesting that they decided to just walk through a duel that it seemed very spontaneous, honestly. I feel like they could have just done that at any point, and I'm curious if we'll see them decide to do that again this game. Baron is coming up in 1 minute. It could be they were just trying to time this mid lane inhib take with the Baron spawn. I don't mind it. I think that having that kind of cryo is very scary if you're the defending team. Jimble Symbol is getting caught out here. We see Flash expended by the jungler of Team UNF, but Cataclysm comes out from Dark Strike X, and this Nocturne is put away. His respawn timer is a little bit longer than the spawn timer of the Baron Masher, and we actually, once again, we do see Team No Name sieging a turret, and while they're sieging the turret, they're very effectively taking the time to also kill members of Team UNF. We see Mike Beeston, and I do think we're going to see Nick go down here. And it might be that we don't actually end up coming upon this second Baron. It could be that Team No Name just pushes to end right here, right now. They already have the inhibitor minions, the siege minions pushing through the mid lane. They have a wave coming in bot lane. I think that they can absolutely just end the game right here. Additionally, they have Grubs, a fantastic command shockwave by Jack Frost, manages to catch 2, and Amber Dragon attempted to follow with an encore, but it didn't really catch enough of what she was looking for. The Jibble Symbol follows up with a fearsome, what's that called, Paranoia, does trade with Dark Strike X. Miyafi has pulled up with the, I can never remember this, Demonic Ascension. I think I've been calling it by its other name, Demon Flare, this whole time. He does pull up with a Demonic Ascension and is forced to flash away by Mike Beeston's bullet time. Really just ult after ult after ult after ult thrown out this fight, and you know, a couple people died. One member of Team UNF, two members of Team No Name. That was favorable for UNF, I suppose. I think that the players lost before that fight started make it a little bit less favorable for UNF, but you know, they're working on it. UNF is just taking this sixth Drake this game without a jungler. Both junglers were down, and Team No Name elected to go towards the Baron rather than towards the Drake. At this point, UNF has 3 Cloud Drakes to their name. Their members are incredibly speedy around the map, and we do see them speedy enough to contest this Baron. Miyapi hits a Nevermore on someone TPing in. I think it was Nick, but it doesn't really matter. And this Baron is forcibly stopped. So the members of Team No Name are afraid of the members of Team UNF, despite a 4K gold difference in favor of No Name. They really can't afford to start swinging at this Baron because the members of UNF are just strong enough to put them in the ground if they try anything funny. However, the longer they wait, the more beneficial it is for them, just because Team UNF's base is getting ransacked by siege minions, and it looks like this Baron is starting to get bursted down. Call the Forge God comes out, and beautiful combo by the Nocturne and Orianna manages to catch out one player, the ADC of Team No Name. Mike Beeston stole Baron with a bullet time, but I don't think UNF's players are going to get the luxury of using it. Miyapi is chasing down Mike Beeston. Nick is getting run down by 3 players of No Name. This Ornn is going to go down, and the UNF's ADC is left alone to contest a Scion in her base. She does have the Baron buff. It does make defense a little bit easier, but I think as a solo player versus 4 members of the opposing team, she's just going to get clanged, popped, put down. And GG is called. The Nexus is under attack. UNF has lost the second game of this 3-game set series. I don't think it's a series, but it's 3 games are being played, and the second game went in favor of Team No Name. I guess we'll show off the client just for the end. It's beautiful, beautiful end screen. You get to see everyone's statistics. So fun, so cool. And back to the draft screen. I don't know how long we'd be waiting for this draft. I would really like to use the restroom if I'm being honest. I might do that while we are waiting for the spectator delay. It looks like Team UNF has not switched sides with their opponents just yet. So it could be that we're going to be staring at nothing for a little bit here. Kind of want to use the restroom, not going to lie. I think the longer I think about it, the worse it's going to be. So I'm just going to go piss. I will be right back. My wonderful, wonderful viewers. Yeah. Ciao. Wait. Our draft? Our stream? Okay. I will not be leaving. Now, coming into this third and final draft, I'm curious what we will see focused. I'm curious if we'll see the support for Team UNF even more focused than previously. Obviously, 2 out of the first 3 bans is quite a lot of intent thrown her way. But I think she was the most impactful member of her team, especially in the early game in that previous match. So I wouldn't be surprised if she was investigated by her opponents. We do have our draft thrown up. And the ban phase has begun. UNF once again does ban out the Fiddlesticks. We will not get to see the famed, what's his name? The famed Darkstrike X Fiddlesticks. We will not get to see the famed E-Swag Vagar. And we won't get to see the famed Pike. and we'll not get to see the famed Miatbi pike. I'm curious if we'll see Miatbi on a hook champion again this game. I think Swain, I would count him as a hook champion. He's very non-traditional as far as hook champs go. It's not as much of a straight line skill shot as it is something completely unique. But we saw the Nautilus banned out the first game, so I would love to see what this guy can do on that character. I'm honestly excited to see the gameplay of this no-name team. After these first two games, I think that it's really been a treat to watch, if I'm being honest. Interestingly enough, we see No Name ban out the Ezreal. It looks like that previous game restored their faith in Mike Beestom's ADC. They do not want to let this guy get a character that he's fearsome at. I'm curious if we'll see the Ashe come out in the first three selections for the side of UNF. Just because Mike Beeston. Oh, he pulls out the Varus. I was actually talking with him before the game started, and he did say something about the Varus. He was a little unsure if he was going to be playing it tonight, but it looks like he managed to convince his team to let him try it out. Um, I am expecting this to be an AD Varus game. I don't know if it needs to be said or not, but traditionally UNF does not try out quirky strategies like that. I'd say the quirkiest thing they do is the Oriana Nocturne, and that's almost like a bread and butter of the game at this point. When we see a little bit of miscommunication here by Team No Name. This Nun pick will be a Ziggs pick, and the second pick will be whatever. Ziggs Lucian. Fascinating. Um, I do believe that Socratic does play a little bit of Ziggs. I don't know if we'll be seeing this Lucian go mid. I've seen a rise in Lucian mid these past few days, but I don't expect to see. I suppose if we have a Ziggs ADC, we could see an AD mid laner, but Lucian it's just surprising to me. I don't really know where these characters are going to be going this game. It could just be that we see the Ziggs go mid. But we do see Varus, Nico, Syndra pulled out for the side of UNF. Pretty AP heavy, honestly. Like, I know Varus is an AD character, but he does have AP in his kit. He's a little bit more AP leaning than most of the ADCs, which he's still AD leaning, but there's a bit of AP in there. So I would like to see some more AD characters from the rest of his team. Between the Varus, the Nico, and the Syndra, we can pretty confidently guess that this is a bit of a pick comp. These characters' goals are to catch out their opponents in some way or another and blow them up. Syndra, I'd say, is the most literal interpretation of that ideology. Um, but all of them are really great at doing that. And Nico is especially great in a team fight setting. I think that the Varus is a little bit better in a team fight setting. I'm curious to see how strong UNF's team fight is. I think Lucian, Ziggs, Braum are all pretty solid team fighters. Um, Lucian, maybe a little less so. Lucian is known for being a duelist. He's very strong in lane, but I think his ult can dish out quite a lot. And this Braum will also be quite fearsome with the Lucian just because of Lucian's passive, which allows him to auto attack twice. Pairs very well with Braum's passive, which once a certain number of auto attacks reach, once 4 auto attacks are hit on any opponent from any of his teammates, he has to hit the first auto, but his teammates can hit the other 3. That individual is stunned. It's a very, very useful thing to pair with the Lucian. You can get twice as, or can proc it in half as many autos, sort of. We see Mundo and Vi banned by Team No Name. We haven't had the jungler or the top laner for Team UNF squeeze into the final 2 picks, so we get to see what No Name is banning in Fear here. Malphite ban comes out from the side of UNF. I think that's a little bit strange considering how AP heavy their comp is right now, but it could just be that Malphite is not a character with an extraordinary level of difficulty, and UNF doesn't want to deal with the very simple shoot, what's it called? The Malphite ult. I knew what it was yesterday. I'm a little bit tired now. Been commentating for a little bit. Haven't drinking a little bit. Gotta catch up on my drinking, honestly. Xin Zhao is locked in to follow up that Braum. Uh, Pretty comfortable front to back comp from the side of TWNN. I think that Braum and Xin Zhao are both pretty strong front lines. Xin Zhao is obviously very effective against ranged characters because of his ults, uh, which it's just very effective against ranged characters. It knocks all characters away from him except for a single character he challenges into a duel, sort of. And any characters far enough away from him can't damage him. An Amumu chosen for Team UNF. Looks like they're going for a sort of a combo with the Amumu and the Nico, if I had to guess. So it's the idea behind this comp. And then a Renekton to follow up. Not necessarily part of the pick comp as much, more so as a comfortable pick for the top lane, I think. Really something you can choose blindly. And we'll see what Team No Name follows this up with. I think that from what we've seen them choose so far, it's an Alawi. You know what? I wasn't going to say an Alawi. That was not one of the guesses I had. Alawi is a very strong split pusher. If anything, she's front to back, but she's not known for her team fighting. She's not really known for her strength. Alawi is not a character we see pulled out often. We have seen a few strange picks from team with no name tonight. So I suppose it shouldn't be too surprising, but it's unexpected. I'm curious to see how it does against Nyx Renekton. I imagine he hasn't fought as many Alawis as he has other characters, just because she's so rare to see, just because she's not really seen in such a positive light. And now, with the conclusion of the draft, I am expecting an R game, and as soon as I see the screen switch, I will be switching the stream and taking my leave. Our game is called. Our stream. Yes, sir. And the screen has been switched. I invite you to enjoy the beautiful UI of this circle spinning, the subtle beauty of the League music, and I'm gonna go take a piss. BRB. Hello, hello, hello. I am back and ready to discuss these comps. It looks like I think UNF's bot lane is a little bit more sit back and scale. I'm kind of convinced that this is Illusion Braum in the bot lane. It just makes more sense than Ziggs Braum. So I think UNF's comp wants to sit back a little bit more, so there will be less action from their side. Illusion Braum is very aggressive. We'll see them try to tear apart the Varus, especially. And I think the Nico really isn't bulky enough to handle what comes in from them. Obviously, Lucian had a lot of skill shots, so the Nico might just slip around it. But we will be getting into the game now very shortly. Here we go. Marvelous set of skins, relatively. 3 skins on each team. I love this Blood Fury Renekton skin. Not gonna lie, I think it's gorgeous to look at. Immediately we see it pointed out that this Renekton does have Ignite. It's quite aggressive, honestly, for this kind of coordinated play. It's a big sign that this this is going to be a scary, scary top lane for the side of UNF. I don't mind the Ignite at all into the Alawi. I think Alawi is a character that Ignite is directly good into, just because of its Ignite does damage and applies Grievous Wounds, which applies 40% healing reduction to whoever is under its effects. And Alawi is a character that has quite a lot of self-healing, so that small factor of Ignite will be greatly beneficial in this matchup. UNF is looking for a ward on the Raptors. Jimble Symbol is getting poked out quite a bit by Eastwag for his transgression. It looks like we'll see a flash forced out. However, this might be a little bit late. I think we're going to see him. Nope, he just barely squeaks away. However, Jack Frost pays the price in blood. We see only the Ignite used by Miafi's Braum, and Jimble Symbol is down flash, of course. TJ4 takes a bit of damage going into this lane, but it's really no compensation for Eastwag's significant gold lead. Of course, that will only apply once he recalls, so Jack Frost has this slight opportunity before the Ziggs recalls, probably a 5-minute window to make something happen. I don't think he's going to be able to. Ziggs is a character that likes to play from like 2 screens away, so realistically, yeah, Jack Frost is not going to be able to deal with this. Nick engages with this level 2 advantage, very well played, already igniting TJ4, but it doesn't look like he wants to go in deeper than that. Additionally, Darkstrike is invading the jungle of Jimble Slimble, and Nick is nowhere to be found. This is a really nasty invade. And really, honestly, poor team coordination from Team UNF. I don't know why Nick isn't going down there even now. I feel like it's really important to try and help your jungler out in this kind of situation, and the fact that he's not doing it makes me sad. A bit of slight trading going down to the bot lane. Somehow Nick has lost his level lead in the top lane. It looks like this Alawi is pushing out, whether she wants to or not. Jack Frost at a disadvantage in the mid lane, to no one's surprise. Not his fault, it's just the Ziggs got ahead already, and he's looking to stay ahead. Okay, Nick engages once again onto TJ4, gets a small trade and dashes out. The Alawi does catch him out with her Spirit Tentacle. Next time we see them, I'll check out what it's called. Eastwag, traded upon by Jack Frost, manages to coax him out well enough for Darkstrike X to kill him. I was not expecting to see Jack Frost get cut down, I'm not gonna lie. Quick, what's it called? Test of Spirit. And once again, we see it used. Test of Spirit pulls Nick's soul out of his body. Lowy starts wailing on it, does a little bit of damage to him. If she manages to kill the soul, then Nick will be accosted by tentacles from all angles. It looks like the alligator or crocodile, I suppose, wanted to recall, but did not get that opportunity. He doesn't have teleport, so he'd be put at a major disadvantage if he were to recall right now. And TJ4 does have that advantage of having teleport. I think at this point, Alawi wants to use it to get a lot of early plates. The Amumu's in top lane, but recalling instead of coming up and helping. I feel like this is a really great gank opportunity, and it looks like Amumu has realized that too. Though Nick is backing off, the Amumu has wasted a load of time, and it looks like the Amumu is recalling on top of his Gromp. No, he's staying to take the Gromp without recalling for items. His tempo is devastating, or devastated. This Xin Zhao is incredibly accelerated. He is definitely the strongest player in the lobby right now, and he is so far ahead. He can kind of just walk into any lane he wants and do whatever he wants at this point. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw another invade coming out, or Jack Frost getting caught out. There isn't any vision protecting him. He has a ward on the Raptors, so we know that the Xin Zhao is making a move right now. However, I think it's easy to forget. It looks like Amumu did see the Xin Zhao deep in his jungle. At this point, I think that it's possible for a small skirmish to happen, and the Xin Zhao would still be able to come out on top, but I think this was a lot of time wasted for Dark Striker. So, a bit of a shame that it didn't work out for him with how ahead he is. It just gives more opportunity for UNF to come back, which I'm sure they very much appreciate. Amber Dragon gets her back canceled in the bot lane by Miyakbi. Dark Striker is, or Dark Strike X is coming downwards. UNF has enough vision in their jungles from that first invade to see the Xin Zhao at all points. He is hopping on Amumu's Krugs, and I think that Dark Strike has concerned himself so much with putting the Amumu behind that he's forgotten to farm his own jungle. He's honestly leaving a lot of camps up right now. And I think instead of pushing his, like, he was trying to push his lead to his opponent's detriment, but instead he got nothing accomplished and wasted a bunch of his own time. It's a little bit disappointing to see, to be honest. However, it looks like he will be clearing his own jungle now. Amumu has the opportunity to gank top here. Alawi TJ4 does, or no, T4J does not have any vision. But it looks like he will instead be patiently waiting for the scuttle. I think there's a lot more constructive activities he could be doing, at least waiting on the top side instead of towards the middle of the map. A little bit disappointing to see. The first dragon has spawned. It is a Chemtech dragon. I wouldn't be surprised to see it go uncontested. I'm sad to say, I think that Dark Strike X is just too strong at this point. And it looks like Amber Dragon might be getting caught out here if Miyotbi lands his Q, which he does. Yeah, Socratic is able to follow up on it. He is forced to use his flash to get the kill, but I think that's well worth it at this stage in the game. Amumu's still on the top side of the map. I think I would like to see a gank come out at some point. I feel like there's been a lot of opportunities to help his Renekton out and really cut this Alawi down to size, but it's just not happening, and instead we're seeing the Amumu walk through his jungle. I suppose he's desperately looking for level 6, but while he's looking for level 6, Team No Name has cleared the first Drake. Grubs have now spawned, and we see this Xin Zhao walking towards them. He's sitting on a lot of gold right now. Jack Frost is hit directly by the Mega Inferno Bomb. At this stage in the game, it's not quite enough to kill him. We see Dark Strike X get quite low. Miyotbi, also present for the skirmish in mid, gets cut down to half. Nick is perplexingly going after Dark Strike X. I think this is a play for Grubs, but it's really just not working out. Instead, he's... I am amazed. I am just completely floored at that. Nick went in between the tier 1 and the tier 2 in mid lane and managed to, in a 3v1 scenario, kill the jungler of Team No Name and collect a 500 gold shutdown. Absolutely appalling that any of that worked out, but I suppose I have to congratulate the incredible skill and gameplay behind that play. I don't think I have to congratulate the minds behind that play. Realistically, that shouldn't work, but it happened. It worked. So I think that despite that incredible shutdown, Nick is just so behind in CS and in tower plates that this Alawi is just going to steamroll him. There is nothing that this Crocodile can do to come back into the game at this point. This Alawi is just so far ahead. I think next recall is going to be her item, and I think that at that point we're going to see this tier 1 go down, and we're going to see Nick start dying a lot. Amumu, once again, top side of the map. Braum is forcing the Amumu back. Nick is not going to be receiving any help. Zinjao is on grubs. The bot side of the map is in a sort of stagnant state. It's sort of UNF favored just because the support for Team No Name has roamed up for the grub fight. However, you really want your support to roam up for the grub fight. Now, Jimble Slimble is being forced out of his own jungle 10 minutes into the game. The Mega Inferno Bomb comes out and he flashes away, but T4J gets the shoot, what's that called? Divine Judgment or something? The Harsh Lesson lands and cuts down the Amumu. And this is just an absolutely devastating game here. UNF is not winning this. I can already tell you. There is a 3,000, almost 4,000 gold lead 10 minutes into the game. This is Nick's best opportunity to kill T4J. He has yet to recall. He's sitting on a boatload of gold. Nick went in with ult and was not able to kill T4J. In fact, it looks like T4J is going to come out of this with a positive trade. So top lane is Raps. Mid lane also not looking too hot. The Ziggs has been getting a lot of value just roaming for fights, not necessarily killing the Syndra in lane, but killing people around the map. For instance, when Jimble Slimble was caught out in his own jungle, we saw an Inferno Bomb fly over. Just a little bit of gold picked up into the pocket of Eastwag. A cute play by Amber Dragon does not manage to catch out Eastwag. He counts his minions, he knows what's up. Once again, Jimble Slimble caught out in his own jungle by Darkstrike and the Braum. T4J about to cut Nick down to size, does not manage to. And Amber Dragon very greedily goes in. She does secure a kill for ADC at the cost of her own life. Jack Frost flashes the Mega Inferno Bomb, but will be going down at the hands of Darkstrike X. This is the most coordinated we've seen any team tonight. I think that Team No Name has done a fantastic job of tearing through their opponent's jungler as well. They've really located the sort of weakness that Team UNF has. I think right now, Team UNF is playing in a very uncoordinated way, and Jimble Slimble is just not getting the help that he needs in his jungle, and he is suffering for it very, very greatly. Darkstrike X is not doing a great job of clearing his own jungle. Despite this great teamwork, he just isn't making the best macro decisions, so we only see a 20 CS lead in the jungle. However, he's making up for it more than enough with all the kills that the Zinjao has picked up. Additionally, this Braum has been present for a lot of very important moments, and presently he has his own shutdown despite not having any kills. Darkstrike X finds Jack Frost, manages to very nearly catch him out. Jack Frost pushes him back and manages to survive. We do see the Crescent Guard thrown out by Zinjao. To not really great effect, honestly. It did kind of nothing, but it does keep him healthy for this Drake. Second Drake of the game, Cloud Drake. Both teams look like they do want to contest it. Nick has roamed down from top lane. It looks like he's given up. This Alawi is a menace. Already almost hitting the tier 2. Already looking at the tier 2, 14 minutes into the game. Syndra has been sent top to deal with her. I don't mind that at all. I think a longer range character will do better than this poor, unfortunate Renekton. However, that does mean the Renekton has to fight the Ziggs, and it looks like instead of fighting the Ziggs, he might be roaming top. No, he's going back to the Ziggs. The Drake has been started by the team in red, and Jimble Slimble will walk towards it. It looks like he will be getting caught out a little bit by Darkstrike X, but there's just no way. He's looking for the Drake. He puts out the sad mummy's curse, and it ends up with Jimble Slimble dead and Darkstrike X once again hitting the Drake. T4J taking a 2-for-1, or no, taking a 1v1. I thought there were 2 players just because of the soul effect of the Test of Spirit, but T4J does manage a solo kill on Jack Frost under tower. Deeply unfortunate for the mid laner of Team UNF, but you had to have expected it going to face this juggernaut. Rift Herald has spawned. Otacon 5 minutes away. The next Drake 5 minutes away. I think that when this Otacon and this Drake spawn, this is an opportunity for UNF to squeeze an objective in, just trade it. It's the best they can hope for at this point. So, game state. It's 2-14 in the favor of No Name, Team No Name. Additionally, in the favor of Team No Name, it's roughly an 8,000 gold lead. Nick is struggling under tower against Eswag. This Ziggs is just too pesky, too bothersome for Renekton to deal with. Jack Frost is getting soloed by the support of Team No Name. Doesn't really lead to anything, but silly that it's happening. Darkstrike X is looking for a 1v3 right now. The Braum is nearby, but I don't think anything's going to really come from this skirmish. It's all just anticipatory in preparation of this Rift Herald. And it looks like UNF has elected to give the Herald, which I think is the right decision. I don't think they can realistically fight this, especially not with the Alawi top. She's just putting so much pressure on that tower, and she is going to take it. It's just a matter of time. The clock ticks. T4J caught in a cute little 2v2. It does manage to hit the Test of Spirit on Jack Frost. I wouldn't be surprised to see the Syndra go down here. Braum additionally slams out a Glacial Fissure, and Jack Frost is cut down. This Rift Herald is used on the top lane tier 2. Darkstrike X dives past the tower. He's looking for Amber Dragon, and he does catch her a very beautiful Wind Becomes Lightning, I assume. I don't know enough of Xin Zhao to know what his abilities are, actually. Regardless of what the ability's name is, it was very well used, very well targeted. And in the end, Alawi is inevitable. This tier 2 in the top lane does go down 17 minutes in the game. Jimble Slimble is helping clear the wave at this point. He's just too frightened to go into his own jungle. There's not enough camps there for him. And Mike Beeston is taking what he can get. Scraps of what's left after his jungler's been through the wave. Nick's back is stopped by Eswag. It looks like we will be seeing this alligator die under tower. Beyond nefariously ignites him under tower, just getting a little bit of kill credit. Silly to see, but you know, 150 gold's 150 gold. And on a support salary, you really need it. We see Amber Dragon caught out by Darkstrike X in the jungle. It looks like she will be going down, not because of Darkstrike X, but because of Miapi. Just the slow, really the disturbance he causes is enough for Sulcratic to catch up. We do see Amumu farming in his topside jungle. I don't expect that to go on long. He is completely surrounded. But it looks like very kindly for the first time this match, his opponents are letting him farm. T4Q pushing 1v4, 1v3. No biggie, it's what he's been doing all game. Honestly, I'm surprised that his teammates aren't doing a little bit more. Alawi presently 2v5. This is where she shines. Does not manage to pull her ult out soon enough. Possibly just CC'd for too long. I really think that T4J had an opportunity to do well in that fight, despite it all, despite being 1v5, but he just wasn't aware, I guess, of what to do to win that fight. Or it could be that he was sitting on too much gold to reasonably win that fight. 1,000 is quite a lot. The next dragon has spawned. It is an ocean drake, it is an ocean soul, and already we see the jungler for Team No Name on the drake. No contest from UNF in sight. Thornbound Otacon, bottom side of the map. Earlier I had suggested that UNF trade objectives. I did not realize Otacon was on the bottom side of the map. I definitely could have looked at the pit, I just didn't think to. This objective's leaving in a month, I don't need to know what it does. I know what it does, but I don't need to think about what it does. We will see Drake and Otacon both on the side of Team No Name. Now, at this point, I don't really know what UNF could possibly do to win this game. I'm gonna be honest, I think their best bet is their ADC, just character-wise. Maybe this Varus can sit behind his team and pump out enough damage to win a fight. I think between the Xin Zhao, the Alawi, and the Braum, it might not even be possible. But that's just what UNF has going for them. He has the second most CS on his team. He has 66% kill participation. It's a pretty impressive number, pretty impressive statistic. I think he's doing as well as he can. I just think he needs to be doing better in order to win this. And I think that it's not that he's playing poorly, it's that his opponents are playing well. Mega Inferno Bomb comes out, flash from the Jack Frost. Syndra is forced to expend resources to survive that. Once again, not the first time we've seen that this match. Might be the last, though. Team No Name is confidently pushing into the base of UNF with no Baron, no Soul, no nothing. This is actually a huge turning point for Team UNF. I think that they really want to take this team fight. Oftentimes, these base fights go in favor of the defending team. And it looks like this time is no different. Alawi this time does manage to get her ult out, but I think at this point she's just not strong enough to deal with all of the members of Team UNF, and UNF finally wins a team fight. Or they really win something. That was just a really poor fight taken. I've seen it happen so many times where a team has got a really confident lead. They probably had like an 11 or 12,000 gold lead there. Maybe even more. But a team is confident in their lead, so they just try to foolishly push a base without any sort of objective advantage. Like, clearly, they have 3 dragons, they have Otacon, they have the Grubs, they've gotten Rift Herald, they've gotten everything. But there's no Soul, there's no Baron. There's just not something they can realistically push that deep into the base with. Just taking that turret fire is too much for them at this point in the game. I think that maybe if we were a little later, like it was 40 minutes in with no Baron, no Soul, no nothing, then I think the items would be enough to carry them through that turret fire. The levels would be enough, but they don't have enough armor at this point, and the turrets are just not something that can be ignored, like Team No Name was ignoring them. Now it looks like our poor Renekton will be getting caught out here. Mega Inferno Bomb has cleared the wave. He has been hit by the Winter's Bite of Braum once again. Stunned, we see the Renekton ult come out. He actually does a little bit well for himself, arguably. Survives like a couple extra seconds because of that. But In the end, we see him going down. Now, the Baron himself, Baron Nashor, spawning in just over a minute. We see the top side of the map riddled with wards in favor of Team No Name. Three of their members are looking to shove into this tier 3 a little bit less aggressive than the last time they shoved into the base. Now looking for the tier 3 in mid lane. And getting it, of course, thanks to eSwag's Satchel Charge. Alawi is shoving in the bot lane, so presently her team just needs to shove top, and she shoves bot, and eventually UNF will either have to split their focus and crumble, or sacrifice parts of their base. This is a really well-orchestrated push by Team No Name, presently pushing all three lanes at once, which is quite hard to do at such a consistent rate. In the end, they do get the bottom inhibitor, and it looks like they're going to be getting the mid inhibitor too. Darkstrike X is currently just hitting wave, but T4J is here to clean up. Mid inhibitor goes down. Mega Inferno Bomb hits the top tier 3. I don't think that we're going to be seeing much come from that. But minions are already hitting the Nexus turrets for Team UNF. And UNF wants to defend this last inhibitor with all of their heart. Baron has spawns. Honestly, at this point, I think Team No Name should just go for the Baron. Pushing for this third inhibitor is really greedy. They already have 2 Baron waves coming out. They also have Soul up right now. I think there's a lot of things they could be doing to secure the win in this game they're not doing. And it looks like they've noticed it. Their pings going down on both of the objectives. It looks like their team is beelining for the Soul first, speeding towards the Ocean Soul. Which I think is the right call. I think getting Soul before Baron is the correct course of action. I think realistically UNF cannot clear Baron while they're clearing out this final Ocean Drake. It's just more guaranteed. It does make the match take slightly longer, which I'm sure neither team wants. They've been playing for quite a while. I'm sure they're a little bit exhausted at this point. But you wouldn't know it from their gameplay. They're sure putting these numbers out, but 3 games in a row is no small feat in this kind of competitive setting. We do see the Rift Scuttler taken, wards cleared out, and this Baron has begun. Team No Name is cutting down the Baron. Team UNF has no response. They're just hopelessly picking up whatever waves they can, trying to scrounge up the money to deal with their opponents. It's a very, very dire state. Not even the top lane, which still has this inhibitor, not even the top lane is pushed out enough. And immediately we see this Ziggs TP into the top lane, this Alawi TP into the mid lane. They are being incredibly aggressive, hoping to set the lanes up for their team. At this point, I think UNF has no hope. The previous fight win was largely a result of Amber Dragon. I think she had a fantastic engage, a very, very strong Pop Blossom. Yeah, strong Pop Blossom. So that's going to be the thing to look out for on the side of Team UNF, but I think that this is really Team No Name's game to win. We see Miapi dive in, and Glacier Nick Jimble Symbol hits a fantastic Sad Mummy's Curse, followed up by a really amazing Pop Blossom. This combo of Team UNF has really come through, but it just... UNF is so behind, they have no damage to kill. Alawi picks up a triple kill, really well played by T4J, and this is the end of the third and final game from Team UNF here. Really well played by both teams. I'd say a little bit better played by Team No Name. I think that a lot of Team UNF's shortcomings are due to their lack of experience with their new jungler, honestly. I think that there was a lot more coordination when Mike Beeston was in the jungle, and I think it's just getting used to a new sort of leadership that is really putting them in a tough spot. I've seen all of these players play before, except for Jimble Slimble. It was pretty fun to see him play. I think it was very unfortunate that he spent a lot of, especially that last game, getting just torn to pieces in his own jungle. His teammates did not come to help him, whether that was because he didn't communicate it, or because they couldn't, or because I don't know. I really think that that shouldn't have been the case, and I think it's unfortunate that that's what we got to see from him there. Um, yeah. And I haven't been told whether or not I am doing an interview after these games. So I'm going to double check whether or not I'm doing that. Um, and in the meantime, I thank you so much for joining me for those 3 games. My name is Finn. I never said that at the very start of the stream. I'm not used to actually being the one that starts it off. Um, but my name is Finn. I've been your commentator here today. It's been my absolute pleasure, and I thank everyone who showed up and joined me for these 3 games. Um, a little bit of disappointing play on the side of Team UNF, but it's always fun to watch some amateur league. I say amateur. This is a Division 1 team. Honestly, not amateur at all, but it's always fun to watch a bit of school league gameplay. But yeah, thank you for your time. Have a great night, everybody. Ciao.